Okay, speaking of you doing a sitcom, so like we were looking at your IMDb and like 2007, 2008, you were doing Phineas and Ferb, Everybody Hates Chris, role models. You're still a
Yeah.
teenager. How were you managing
Yeah.
school, these three jobs, everything all at once?
It definitely difficult. Like it's definitely a juggling act. But I think it was really nice that I had a family who was supporting me and supporting me doing something that I wanted to do and that I loved doing. Um, it's definitely wild looking back on it now. Because it too at the same time, like Phineas and Ferb was starting to get really popular as I was like kind of wrapping up Everybody Hates Chris. And so
Hmm.
then Phineas and Ferb becomes like the biggest show, like the biggest, it is literally the biggest animated TV show that Disney Channel has ever had. But it wasn't that when I was wrapping up Everybody Hates Chris. So like
Okay.
Everybody Hates Chris was like kind of coming down in popularity and we were like done. And then
Hmm.
Phineas and Ferb was like taking off right afterwards. And
Hmm.
then we had this weird second life on Everybody Hates Chris where it came back on Nick at Night and it didn't belong
Yeah.
there. Like it didn't make sense that it was there because it just took place in the 80s. It wasn't actually like a sitcom from the 80s.
Yeah.
I
It's on
remember
every
that.
night.
Yeah.
It actually ended up becoming way bigger on Nick at Night uh, than it was ever on like the CW and stuff like that. And we had been like nominated for like really big awards like during our
Sure.
first one of the show. And the popularity was just way bigger on Nick at Night. And I had a lot of people coming up to me uh being like, oh my God, and like stopping me, just being like, oh my gosh, I'm watching the show right now. And I was like, yeah, we finished doing that show like 2 years ago. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working on that anymore. Um, but with Phineas and Ferb, that was just, you're more hidden on that. People don't really know exactly what you do. I had a I had a woman come up to me though. Like, if I go to Disney parks, people usually know who I am because people know who all the voice actors are if
That
they're on
makes
Disney
sense.
property.
Hmm.
But I had someone come up to me one time who because most people don't know that I was on both shows. Like, still every so often, people will be like, "Who was going to tell me that the kid from Everybody Hates Chris was Phineas this whole time?" And I
Like
was
I
like,
haven't
"I
been
don't know.
hiding
Why would
it.
I have?
You're like, look it
Why would I
up.
have told you that? That's not my business."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you tell me you're not on my IMDb every day. Like that's
Yeah,
weird.
it's so
That's
really
that's on
rude.
you. That's a
Yeah,
you problem.
my star meter is messed up. No, but someone came up to me once and she was just like, "Hey, I think are you the guy? Are you the guy who plays Phineas on Phineas and Ferb?" I was like, I do, yeah, I do. And I was like 18. And
Mhm.
I was like, do you like the show? Do you enjoy it? And she's like, no, no, I don't like it
Oh.
at all. And I was
Okay.
like, oh, okay, no,
Okay.
all right. She was like, yeah, there's like a platypus on that show who like wears a hat. And I was like, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he's a secret agent. She's like, well, where does he get the hat?
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I assume he bought it. And she was like, there's a store where they buy hats for little platypuses. And
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, I have to be honest with you. I was like,
Hmm.
if your level of like suspension of disbelief is so low that you
Hmm.
can't get past the hat,
It's not for you.
you know what? Maybe not for you because we've been
Also,
Hmm.
both
no
those.
cartoon. She shouldn't watch
Yeah,
any of
yeah.
those.
No.
If the hat was the limit here, we didn't even get to the fact that he's a secret agent yet. It was just
Oh,
the hat itself was too much
yeah.
for them to handle, and I was like, you know what? That's fine.
Man.
Okay.
I hope she shouldn't ever watch Hey Arnold because his football shaped head would just
Yeah,
bother
It would
her, I
throw
think.
her.
I think she'd be like, how does that
yeah.
happen? Yeah.
She's probably doing terrible right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. She's listening.
She's listening to this and she's
She's
like, "Oh
like,
my
that was
God, I
She's
remember."
me.
listening.
Yeah.
She's listening. Yeah. It's interesting that people do you find that people feel like they can just kind of ask you anything? Do you know what I mean? Like some celebrities
Sometimes.
say that sometimes they feel like people don't think they're actual people.
Like they know
Totally.
you.
And yeah,
Yeah, like they know you.
and I haven't experienced nearly as much as that as like legitimate famous people and especially like live action actors and especially live action actors who are women. Like
Hmm.
that's way worse where people will come up and really invade their space. I definitely have had many conversations where I'm like, "Oh, you could have chosen to not speak to me. Like that was
Right.
you made a choice to come over here and say objectively not nice things. Like I'm not
Hmm.
upset. Like I'm not like gonna get into an argument with you, but like that's cool that you don't like my work. I don't know why you even came over here. I don't know why you're
Hmm.
and it's
Yeah.
just like I wouldn't come to your job and do that to you. I wouldn't be like, by the way, you're bad at this. Um,
Hmm.
but so I've had things like that, and I definitely have like I mentioned this earlier in the interview, but like Everybody Hates Chris is so big in Brazil that like I've been down to Brazil a couple times, and that's where I have like a level of fame that like I can't walk down the street, like I can't be in public. Like I can't go to any restaurant. I can't like it's very much like a an actual fame, like unbelievably famous
Yeah,
person.
like big superstar
And
there.
Hmm.
I went down for D20. There was a D23 in Sao Paulo for the first time ever. And so we did a big Phineas and Ferb thing for it, and everyone just thought it was the funniest thing ever. Like all of my bosses on Phineas and Ferb, they're like, "This is like walking around with the Beatles. This is hilarious." And it's funny. It's funny to them and to me because it's me. Where it's like, this doesn't. Why
Yeah.
me? But I am like everyone's very lovely there, and I love the fans down there and how passionate they are. I am glad I can turn that fame off. Like I am glad
Sure.
that I get to come home and that's not my life every day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because it's nice to be able to go to a restaurant and not have anybody, need something from you.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
do, yeah, I definitely empathize with people who have to actually deal with that like all the time. And it kind of
Yeah.
makes sense how some people get really weird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
If
Yeah,
that was
for
happening to you
sure.
all the time, I think you'd probably get pretty weird.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
It's not normal.
if you
Yeah.
can't go to the grocery store ever without someone talking to you, uh, or just stop going to the, like, because there are plenty of famous people who just stop doing things like that in general.
Yeah.
You start like losing normal people uh, interaction skills, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that makes total sense that you're really weird now. Like you've just been
Hmm.
completely isolated and have net, you don't go pick up your produce anymore.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
like, I get how that would be intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did read about, because you mentioned Brazil, that there was like a campaign over there that shot your social media following up in like a week from
Yeah,
like 200,000 to like 3 million.
to like 7 million.
That's
7 million. That's
crazy.
In 10
crazy.
days. Yeah. No, no, the only thing I'll say about that is like it was really crazy. Because me and all my friends know that I've been famous in Brazil for a long time because of Everybody Hates
Hmm.
Chris.
Mm.
And one of my coworkers on Phineas and Ferb got me a shirt that said, I'm famous in Brazil, and it just said it in Portuguese, and I just posted it to my Instagram page. And it ended up becoming like an international incident where they were like, we have to make him really, really, really famous on the internet. And some of those numbers have come down. I think a combination of things is like tons of bots. Like once you start getting like
Oh, sure.
once you
Yeah.
get like an influx of following, like the algorithm picks it up, and then you get hundreds of thousands of people like messaging you the same message. Um,
Uh-huh.
and they're bots. And then I think also some people realizing that like I don't speak fluent Portuguese at all.
Oh.
And my main job is not to do that. My main,
Yeah.
job is making cartoons and making TV shows. And
Hmm.
so a lot of my content is focused on what my life actually looks like. Um,
Hmm.
I do my best to make it accessible for all the people who are Brazilian fans who follow me. They're awesome. They have been very loving and very, very passionate about my work. And like I said, they were really excited about Phineas and Ferb when we went down there. But yeah, I do my best to communicate with them and be accessible. It's tough sometimes because, as you said, people always want something very specific from you, and if you're not giving it to them, they're not super happy about that.
Yeah.
But I also have to be
Hmm.
like true to myself and I'm not going to shift what all my content is that I post now to. That would be phony. That would be fake. Like
Yeah.
if all of my
Hmm.
stuff now is just like all this content's only going to pander to the Brazilian audience just because I
Sure.
think it can get me more followers, and I'm like, well, that's disingenuous. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
When
not,
it feel good.
and people would see through that. Like that would be
Yeah.
that's not good. But what has been cool about that experience is never in my life that I think I would, I went down there 3 times last year for two were for Comic Cons and then one was for D23. And I have like friends in Brazil now, and I have learned a lot about their culture and a lot about their food and a lot about their dance and their music, and that's like fascinating. Like that's just something I
Hmm.
never could have predicted would have ever happened in my life, that I have this other country that now I've had a very interesting, intimate experience with. And I hope that that continues. I'm supposed to go
Yeah.
down there again at the end of the year for a pretty big Comic Con, and like I said, everyone's been very, very nice. It's just I do
Hmm.
my best to connect with them when I can and how I can. Um, but you can't make everyone happy on social media. That's kind of the
Oh,
thing.
Oh no. Shouldn't
never.
even try.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, I have a lot of people even too like commenting on my posts sometimes, just being like, "Why aren't you saying any of this in Portuguese?" And I was like, "I don't know how to
I
say
don't,
Mm,
you
it's
don't, if,
just
because if you
not.
try it, then you're gonna like mispronounce things, then
Yeah.
they're
And
gonna get mad about that.
I was like excited for a minute because I was like, you know what? I speak Italian, not like completely fluently, but I can speak a lot of Italian. And I was like, this might be like a total breeze. No,
Hmm.
not the
Uh-huh.
case. They're so different. the vowels have completely different sounds. So like when I'm reading it, I can actually read a lot of the Portuguese and go, oh, I have
Okay.
an idea of what they're saying. But when I'm hearing it, because the vowels sound different, I'm like, did they just finish a word or are they starting
Mm.
it? And it's I can't figure it out because I'm just not experienced enough yet. But I'll get there. It's gonna
Yeah.
Hmm.
give me time. Give me time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have time, you have trips planned. We'll
Yeah.
get there.